Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Allegedly, Meghan Markle kept a daily diary that she was updating regularly during her time in the UK and during the run-up to the marriage. I think this diary probably spans before she even actually got married to Harry. She started keeping this diary about her experiences and her life, and we know that Meghan, before she got in with the royal family, was branching out into blogging. She had 1 million followers on Instagram and she had a blog called The Tig, so she was very used to documenting her thoughts and feelings daily about what it is she was doing or what she aired and places she visited with her mother and on her press trips and off of set. And you know, she was meant to have been known as the girl to go to if you wanted to figure out a nice spot in town that's not too that's very private or very niche or has something unique. She was a self-professed foodie. Everyone knows about the famous quotes on banana, and she used to like to write positive quotes and share them with other women. And she was a self-proclaimed feminist, which doesn't really come across, but she was a self-proclaimed feminist. Now, fast forward years later, she is known widely as a narcissistic character. That's how people reference her daily online. She kept this diary, and I don't understand who, but allegedly it was a friend again who was chatting away to the media and told them that Meghan has a diary of her stay in the UK. And I imagine she would have been documenting about Buckingham Palace, how the Queen was like, how Kate was like, how their homes, the estates, what she experienced, the traditions, the customs, the beautiful history, and how she felt about it and how it, I guess, contrasted to her very American background and her American upbringing. I think that kind of information coming out is quite... I don't understand why she wouldn't be upset about this, yet she's so upset about the British press and what's been printed about her and her letter to being sent to her father, which should have never been sent. The reality of it is that Meghan should have never sent a physical letter to her dad. She should have made an effort to physically visit him or call him on the phone or contact her many family members that she has. She has quite a large family on her black side from what I've seen, and also on her white side she's got uncles that someone actually shared on one of my YouTube videos. Thank you very much. So it was her uncle who was actually a diplomat in Argentina who actually got her the internship which allowed her to learn this Spanish. Now, a lot of people do not believe that Meghan Markle is fluent in Spanish. I don't know, guys. I just read the facts. She shouldn't have sent that letter, but now we have these constant stories leaking about what she's doing, what she's gonna do, this book, what she's thinking about it, how she feels about it. And there's all of this drama that just seems to follow her wherever she may go or seems to be. So another friend has come forward, as I said, and they've spoken to Cosmopolitan magazine, and they've said that Meghan is not going to be publishing a tell-all book. She's actually going to be keeping this diary for another purpose, or just it's for personal use. There's been a lot of speculation about this. So it says here, the Daily Mail revealed that a friend of Meghan claims that Meghan kept her diary during her time living in the United Kingdom. There has been some speculation that said the diary could be a good source of material for a tell-all book about her life. So this friend has basically said that, you know, I wasn't aware that Meghan kept a diary, but even if she was chronicling that period, she is not going to be publishing a kiss and tell book. That isn't on the agenda for Harry or for her. Meghan believes that finding freedom is enough. I don't think that this is true. I do think that this will probably be possibly the undoing of Meghan Markle. I think that she has kept a diary. I think that she's very calculated. She's very masterfully skilled in the way in which She gets people to support what it is she's doing. I don't know if there's a woman in history who's had the power to wrench a man from such birthright, such culture, such history like that. Apart from Helen of Troy, I think it is, you know, the face that launched 1,000 ships. There's been no other woman in history. I'm probably exaggerating, but it's quite a big thing that she has done. And I think that she definitely would have kept a diary about it. And I think that she's definitely going to use it. Someone like Meghan Markle doesn't do anything for no reason. It's the same as the way in which when they got married, they invited all of these A-listers, a lot of people that they never even knew, to the wedding. Why was that done? That was strategically done in order to align herself and Harry, who is more than happy to go along with this masterminded Megxit plan, with Hollywood. And where do we see them now? They're in Hollywood. Everyone who was someone was invited, and I know that Reese Witherspoon, who was invited, famously said and shared that she did receive an invitation from Meghan and Harry, but she never understood why she received the invitation, and that's why she RSVP'd to say, no, I will not be attending your showbiz wedding because I don't know you. And there's probably a hell of a lot of other A-listers who probably received the same letter from Meghan, but didn't want to humiliate and embarrass her by publicly announcing that they was invited to the wedding, but they declined because they simply don't know her. And that's a very normal thing to do. Most people do not start inviting randoms to their big special day when they don't even know them. But this is what she did. Strategically calculated, masterfully planned. That is what her good friend Priti said. Did she not say that? The famous words were, she's very masterfully calculated in how she creates these circles of friends. She done it to her. She created a group and circle of friends that allowed her to jump up to the next level. And as soon as they serve their purpose, they are immediately discarded. And we've seen this discardment with her own family. We've seen the way in which she discarded her dad, her sister, her brother. And this is essentially what it seems to be the pattern for this woman. People have a very short, limited, specific purpose in her life, and if they don't have a purpose outside of that, they are kicked hard to the curb. Even the photographer in Toronto said this when he was hired by her to take some professional photos for a defunct website that didn't launch in the end. When he was hired, she was very dismissive. She was acting like a diva. She was acting like an A-lister. She didn't really want to acknowledge him or the crew because they had a function. That was to take photos. So she didn't feel the need to interact further. Real A-listers, we know, they give the photographer time on set, the engineer, because they have the time, and it's one of the few times where they can actually be relaxed. They're working with someone who's doing a job for them, and they can just be relaxed. They're not being hounded for an autograph. So it's a very relaxing, nice moment for them. They don't want to exert that power and control and diva-like behavior on just the cameraman or the photographer, because, you know, they're not in that setting. It's generally when a celebrity is being mobbed down the street that they have this very extremely defensive kind of A-lister vibe, where it's kind of like, can you get out of the way? I'm trying to get to my car. I've got things to do. Da, 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 da. All of that pretense should drop once they are in an intimate setting. But with Meghan, it was her only moment, wasn't it? We know that when she probably walked up to the building, no one was running up to her, no one was screaming her name, no one knew who she was, no one wanted an autograph. She wanted that feeling, so she exerted it on the people that she hired. And we know that this pattern just continued and got worse. When she actually got into the royal family, they had a sequence of royal staff quitting because they simply just couldn't take the demands. They didn't want to be spoke down to. They wasn't being paid enough, I think. They just thought to themselves, you know what, I'm not being paid enough for this. And even £100,000 is not enough per year to deal with Megxit and the way she acts. They didn't like being really treated like servants, and I imagine she only would have gotten worse. According to various sources, it's because of her actually being someone of a public figure, people actually knowing her name, her face being on billboards, on plates and cups, and all of the usual traditions that happen when you marry into the royal family. I imagine she would have really given them a hard time. So this friend who is speaking on behalf of Meghan, and she has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them who seem to be leaking, I think that they're all her under a different alias, personally, to be honest, has corrected and said, oh no, she will not be publishing a kiss and tell. She will not be doing a kiss and tell book. This diary was just, you know, kept as a diary. But why is she letting everyone know about this diary? What's the significance of this diary? Why do her friends know about this diary? I mean, think about it. If you're keeping a diary, do you let your friends know, oh, I keep a diary? Or, oh, I really kept a diary during my trip in New York, or during my trip in Argentina, or during my trip. I can understand talking about your habits and your interests, so I'm going to write my diary, but it's generally not like, oh, I kept this diary and I wrote in it just Doesn't make any sense, does it? Very strange. I think there's a bigger setup here. I think that Harry is pretty much, he's in the deep end, and he's not going to be coming out on top of this situation. And I think that he's lined up to be discarded, personally, by the Megxi. He's going to be Markled. But anyway, that's another story for another video. I'll be back, guys.